what to do. Can I start with my presentation, Paul?
Yes, please, Roberto. Fire away.
Okay. So when Paul asked me what to talk about, wait a second. I need to move this. Okay, this one. I said, I don't know the level, the people that I am talking tonight. And first of all, I would like to say sorry for my English. It's studying English in Italy, and so please, if I will make some mistakes, grammar mistakes, forgive me. The subject of tonight is individual officiating technique. It's a subject that for me, it's really important, because this is the fundamentals of our job, of referee job, and each referee should take special attention to this. So now, if all of you are ready, I think that we can start. I will try to do my best, and before starting, just a small ground rule I like to underline. First of all, during this presentation, we will see some clips. And I know how the referee are reacting without the clip. The first time that we are watching at the clips, we are looking the referee. So, and then we need to see, am I in this clip or not? And when we understand that we are not in the clip is over. So we miss the subject of the clip. So please, the purpose of these clips are only teaching material. It's a teaching purpose. So I need this clip to clarify some concept and to show you some point that I will talk about. So nothing to do personally with the referee, with their decision. We will not go inside their decision. We will not argue their decision. It's only teaching material. And we will talk about a trade center lead. We will never talk about the name of the referee. The second ground rule that I really want to set immediately. If you have any kind of question, please write in the chat or write to Paul, and it will be my pleasure to answer at the end. But this is the third rule. If I'm going to say something which is not correct or which is not clear in your opinion, please stop me immediately. So switch on the mic, stop me immediately, and can happen that I will tell you something which is not correct, and I will try to correct myself, or I will try to be more clear in my explanation. This webinar will be about 45-50 minutes. So if you are ready, we can start. Fasten your seatbelt. whatever. Wait, whatever. Okay. Hey. Sorry. No more. Okay. So I think that most of you are asking me why this video. This video is to show the evolution, how much our game changed in the last. We don't need to go so back with the past, but in the last 20 years. This is to highlight the fact that the basketball is a sport in continuous progress. Either in terms of uniform, you see the difference of uniform for the players, for the referees, physical abilities, speed. This is the natural process that we call evolution. And I strongly believe that there is no other sport like ours has always shown itself ready for change, to grow up. And this is involving not only the players, because you saw a young LeBron James, which is completely different to LeBron James that it's now, but he's still on the top. So we saw footage from Barcelona 1992 to Beijing 2009. And if players like LeBron James, like Steve Curry are still on the top of the world in our sport, it's only because they have evolved at the same speed and probably even faster than the game itself. The same is a principle we can apply to the referees. What was considered good in the past, excellent in the past, and here on the left we have excellent examples of excellent referees in the past. Now is today can be normal, but for sure tomorrow will be considered not sufficient anymore. That is why it becomes necessary for players, but also for the referees, to constantly work on their fundamentals. Only with a solid and strong basis, we can think as a referee of progressing. We can think of constantly improving, and if we want to reach and then to remain at the top for a long time. And you saw in this video some referees and some players who stayed on the top, and they remain on the top only because they were staying at the same, they were growing up, they were improving, they were working with a strong, solid basis. When it comes to the player, everybody knows what are the players' fundamentals. Very easy. If you ask to kids, they know that their fundamentals are dribbling, passing, and shooting. And every time they are going to the practice, they are dedicating time of this practice, a small time of this practice for working on these fundamentals. Why? Because they have to improve. There are no secrets if I want to improve. The secret is only one. It's a repetition, 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 repetition. This is the only way how we can become better. And so when we go from the side of the referee, and I'm asking now you, I cannot ask to each of you because we are not in a classroom, but if I would love to ask, what are the referee's fundamentals? And now, not everybody are aware what are our fundamentals, what are the key. I will help you. Our fundamentals are this. So the fundamentals, which we call now individual officiating technique, we can summarize in these points: pre-game conference, jump ball, distance and stationary, referee the defense, stay with the play, protection of the shooter, then the position to have an open angle, adjustment to this position, making a call, decision-making and communication, signaling and reporting, and then the last, which is also very important, that we introduced in the last year, like fundamental part of individual officiating technique for the referee, is the control of game clock and shot clock. Because now for referees, it's really important. But now the question is, especially for the young referees, the one who achieved to have a career, how do you train? Do you have an improving plan regarding your individual officiating technique? What are you doing weekly, daily, monthly, I don't know, to improve your individual officiating technique? What is your motivation? What is your self-improvement? What is your plan to do this? Because now you must be aware, I'm talking now to young referees, but now I'm talking also to expert referees, that the world is full of good referees. But to be good now is not enough anymore. Now we want good referees who have the aim to become better, because they want to be the best. This is the only thing that will push us to work hard. Because if I am good referees, and for me it's enough to be good, the evolution of basketball will pass over you. And tomorrow you will not be good anymore. Your skills will not be enough anymore. So what we are asking to the referees is that, remember, good is not enough anymore. You need to strive for excellence. Every time that you're going to train, every time you're going to work, thinking that you are a referee, you need to strive for excellence. But we know that you cannot be perfect. You cannot strive to be perfect. There is no perfection in our job. But that's for the reason why you need to strive for the excellence. And this is something that each referee has to have like a professional goal. If we want to improve, this is the key. So let's start with the IoT. We will go one by one. Pre-game conference. Wow, pre-game conference. How we can consider this of individual officiating technique? How we can consider this as a basis? Yeah, we can consider this as a basis because, first of all, the pre-game conference is something which is necessary at any level. At any level you are as a referee, at any game you're going to officiate, is necessary for the respect of the game, for the respect of our job, because it's necessary to create the teamwork between us. We are the third team on the court and we need to create the teamwork. And the first step is the pre-game conference. Then, coming back to what we were talking before, is necessary because if we want to achieve an excellent job, we need to work with our colleagues, can be one or two. That's why it's really necessary to establish a very good pre-game conference in order to strive for this excellence. How we can have this pre-game? The pre-game conference must be prepared. We cannot go there and say something every time. No, we need to prepare our pre-game conference. The pre-game conference must have a structure. I know exactly what I want to say. I know exactly which point I want to touch, and need to be shared, because this is the moment where me as a referee, maybe I am more experienced referee than the younger. I need to share my experience. I need to share my feeling, and the same, the young referees has to share his feeling, his experience. Everybody, each of us has something to share, and this is really important. It's not one-way talking in the pre-game conference, it's something which is shared. Just an example of the topics that we can touch. This is only an example, but each of you must have his own ladder of the topic that he wants to touch. Area responsibility can be a very good point. What we will do in case of double whistle. Sorry for my dog. What we will do in the case that we need to have a help call, how we can use the cadence whistle. We will go later with this cadence whistle. How we can have a constant eye contact in order to establish this teamwork. How we can cover the fast break. How we can set our criteria, our standards. I repeat, these are only general topics, just an example, but each of you must have his ladder, his plan. The second one is we had a very good pre-game conference. Now it's time to go on the court, and then one of the most difficult parts in our job is the jump ball. Luckily, in FIBA competition we have only one, but jump ball is something that we need to train. And we know that for the jump ball we have an active referees who is the one who is tossing the ball, and this tossing need to be trained regularly. Because if we don't train like everything, we will not do the toss in the correct way. And these active referees must have in his mind, because he's used to have this, a checklist. What is a checklist? So first of all, I don't have to do extra movement because I need to know that the player are intense, are ready to jump. So any more movement extra that I'm going, I will make them exploding. So this is not to do. The style of the jump ball is absolutely irrelevant. Find your style. Find what is better for you. But for sure, must be a solid upward movement. Then, what is really important, according to the style, is the level of the ball at the start. As lower as we go, as more possible is that we are increasing the possibility to have a wrong jump ball. This jump ball must be intense and fast. And please, referees, don't put the whistle in your mouth, because otherwise the dentist will be very, very, very happy. So we have an active referees, but we have also a non-active referees. Can be one, can be two. This referee need to be ready to react to any illegal action. And also for the non-active referees, we need to have a checklist. So first checklist is, please call back the poor toss. Call the violation, the jumpers or not jumpers. Then, if the toss is correct and there is the legal touch of the ball, we need to control the game clock and the shot clock, because they have to start, especially the game clock. And at the first team control, we need to check if the shot clock is starting. Then we have to remember that if there is a violation in the jump ball, the throw-in will be from the front court with 14 seconds on the shot clock. And then it is the responsibility of the non-active referees to check the alternative possession error. Just a small example of a toss. We have a regular one, solid upward movement, excellent. But we must be ready for not legal one. Violation can happen, and we must be ready from the beginning. This is our business card. So we had the jump ball, we start the game, and now we start. We need to start to decide. And the first individual opposite technique is saying distance and stationary. When we talk about distance and stationary, we say distance from the play and stationary when we make decision. So let's go further. What means distance? Distance means that I have to maintain the proper distance to the play. So the proper distance is the distance that avoid me to get too close. The proper distance is the one that I can see everything, the player from the foot to the head. Because if I am too close, I will lose perspective. And if I am too close, all the movements will appear faster. And if everything in front of me will appear faster, for sure, will increase the possibility of emotional or reaction calls. And we don't want referees who are calling with the emotion or are having a reaction. We want referees who are analyzing the play. That's why we are asking to the referee to see all the time the big picture. Put yourself in the position in order to see the big picture, which is the most important thing. And then, by consequences, do not tunnel your vision. Be able all the time to see the play in front of you and also the next play. This is the secret how we can understand if we are having a good distance from the play. I must be able to see my play in front, the play in front of me, and the next competitive matchup and the next play. This is the correct way. Just one small example. In this example, we see this is a very typical transition. The referee, the train referee, is not keeping the distance, is running, is never stopping. And that's why the call is an emotional reaction, is not an analyzing of the play. This is only a small example, but just for us. And then stationary. And somebody can say me and always say, hey, why you say me to be stationary when we are doing the fitness test, we are running like crazy. Now we change also the fitness test. Yes, we need to move, but we talk regarding stationary. It's not moving when we have to take decisions. Why this? Because if we are stationary, our eyes are not bouncing. And if are not bouncing, our concentration, our attention for sure will increase. And if my eyes are not bouncing, if my concentration and attention increase, for sure I will have a more possibility to have the correct decisions. So I will reduce the possibility to make mistakes. And this is our goal, not to be perfect, remember, but to strive for good, to strive for excellence. So reduce as much as possible the number of mistakes. And every time we need to look for the hairpin angle. Another small example. Here you will see what we don't want from the referee. So having decision while we are moving. Now you see the lead referee is moving, and while he's moving, he take the play and blow the whistle. I don't want to say right or wrong, it doesn't matter. But this is something that we don't want from our referees, to move and to make decision while moving. Here we could talk also about mechanics, but it's not the topic of the night. It's only an example that we need to be stationary. So if we put together distant and stationary, what have to do the referee? Has to move. Yes, we need to run to move. So to anticipate the play. Then when we are in the right position, we need to stop. And then we need to observe. This is our job. And I move, I stop, and I observe what's going on because I am in the good position, I have distance, and then I have to decide. Because this is the key of our job, to decide. Blowing the whistle, not blowing the whistle, because both of them are decision. But this is the moment when I have to decide. But I have to put myself in the condition to have the best decision as possible. So what we're asking to the referee is, please anticipate the call, not anticipate the play, sorry, not the call. How many times you heard this sentence? But this is the reason why we are talking. And this is how we can anticipate the play and not the call. The next point is referee the defense. As a referee, we are illegality hunters. We have to look for illegality of the defensive player. So our focus must be on the illegality of the defensive player. And to do this, we need to find the best position. We already talked. The best position is the position who allowed us to see the space between offensive player and the referee and the defensive player. But we never officiate the space. We referee the defense. We need the space in order to see the defense, what is illegally doing. We need to look for illegality. I repeat, this is our goal. So best position, open angle in order to see the illegality of the defensive player. One of the most common topic in the last 3 years, stay with the play. And with this topic, I add stay with your call. When we talk about stay with the play, we are talking first of all about shooter protection. Shooter protection is really a topic which is in the last 3 years in every clinic we are presenting to the referee, protection of the shooter. We can have two techniques to protect the shooter. The first one that we are teaching the referee is the 4F technique. The 4F technique, which is easy to remember, is fit, foul, floor, and fake. So for every shot, for every drive, I need to be careful to first point the fit. So I need to know exactly what is the point where my shooter starts. Then I need to look for the foul, body, hands, whatever. Then I need to bring back the player to the floor. And if I do this, I can also see if the shooter is faking or not, something that probably didn't happen. This for every shot and every drive. Just an example. Here you have, I'm very happy to show this clip because I know that Tammy Bonner is, I will talk about Tammy Bonner because I know that she will be your guest. She's a great example now in this clip of protecting the shooter with the correct technique, stationary, distance. She has really everything. Oh, sorry. What is this? Enter my, sorry. I don't know what happened with my post. Sorry. So I will try to show you again this clip because it's deserved. Here you have protection of the shooter, and the referee involved in the play is receiving the play. It's only making a small adjustment to be able to referee the defense, and is protecting the shooter, stay with the play until the end, and then correctly call the foul. This is a great example of individual officiating technique. Small adjustment, small movement, stationary when calling, excellent. The other technique to protect the shooter that we are using is the 1-2-3 technique, which is also something that we can easily remember. The 1-2-3 is hands, body, feet. When we talk about feet, it's landing. Both techniques are valid. What is important that we need to take the shot from the beginning to the end. This is the most important point that we have to remember. And here you have another very good example regarding protection of the shooter. You will see here the perfect technique of the trail, who is staying with the play from the beginning to the end and will be able to see the illegality of the shooter and correctly is calling the foul of the shooter. Now don't look at the signal, because the signal is not correct according to the rule, because he's showing offensive foul. And all of us know that this is not an offensive foul because the ball already released the hand of the shooter. But it's very clear that the responsibility of this contact is from white 11, and the referee can see this contact, can see perfectly what happened, only because has a great discipline and he stayed there from the beginning to the end. And this allowed him to have the correct decision. I was telling, stay with the play, but it's not enough. I stay with the play, and then another technique that we need to insist with our referees is don't run away after the shot, because we need to have rebounding coverage. We need to cover the rebound. We see too many times referees who are running away after the shot in order to cover the fast break or to go on the opposite side. We need to wait the new ball control. This is how we can coverage the rebounding system, the rebounding. And then what I told you is stay with your call. This is something that not always we are talking, and in my opinion, it's really important. It starts from one point. When we blow the whistle is the moment when everybody is looking at us. Everybody is looking at us because they want to understand what happened. They are hearing our whistle, so everybody's turning their head. And if we move immediately after our call, they will see somebody who is walking. And the first thing that we are doing when we move is to look on the floor. So everybody who will turn will see a person, a referee who is looking at the floor. So it means that I'm not confident with my call. I'm going away from my decision. That's why we say to the referee, we teach the referee to stay with the call. So what is the protocol? The protocol is, first of all, make your call and use your verbal support. We will talk about verbal support two or three more times in this webinar, and we will go deeply later. So don't move. Once you blow the whistle, don't move. 1-2 seconds, doesn't matter. Stay in balance in that place where you call the foul. Because I repeat, everybody now is looking at you and they want to see somebody who is in balance, who is confident with the call, who is not running away. That's why it's really important to have your head up and look for the player's eyes. It's not a challenge. I'm only looking for the player's eyes because I don't have any problem to look at you, because I can support my call. And will be also the moment that if I look at the player, this can also be a great moment to say, my mistake, sorry, because this is also something that they accept. But I can do this if I'm looking at the player's eyes. How many times can happen? No more than 2 times per game to say, sorry, my mistake. But if we are stationary, if we are in the place where we make the call, we can also check the temperature of the game, what's going around. We can see if there is something that can happen, if there is some starting of the fighting, if we can have some taunting. So I can show that I am in charge and I can immediately go to fix the problem. But I can do this if I am aware that something can happen. If I'm moving away, I will go only towards the table official. I will lose this opportunity and probably I will miss the starting of the fight, and then I have to run back this fight. And when everything is fixed, now it's time to go to report. Don't be in hurry to go to report once you blow the whistle. It's really the moment when you establish, you are giving your court presence. You are giving the feeling that you are in charge for the game. Next point is positioning, open angle. How many times we say the referee, put yourself at 45 degrees. Yes, 45 degrees, because probably 45 degrees we said you are open to the play. But what is really important, the position, once you establish your 45 degrees position, now your goal is looking for illegal action, like we said. And how we can continue to look for illegal action? Only thanks to the adjustment. So to the referee said, okay, once you arrive to the position, once you have an open angle, because with the open angle, you can see more players under your vision, super. But then is the time to have small adjustment, because the ball is moving, players are moving, and we need to adjust our position. Adjusting our position doesn't mean to run like crazy. It means only make 1, 2 steps, right, left, backward or front, but just to adjust and to continuously have open angle 45 degrees toward the play. So again, what is the protocol? So first of all is move to the right spot and establish the open angle 45 degrees. Then, like I told you, adjust yourself to the play to maintain this open angle. The third point is really important. Our movement have a big value. So don't throw away your energy. Move all the time with a purpose. Move if it's necessary to move. Because if it's not necessary, if you have excellent view, if you have excellent open angle, you don't need to move. You are already stationary, ready to make decision. But at the same time, we know the mechanic principle, but the game is more important than our mechanic and ourselves. So if it can happen, go wherever you need to go in order to see the game. And now I'm talking especially in the last action of the game, in the very important play, go wherever you need to go. And remember that if you have the correct position, you will really need less movement. The bigger movement are coming where we are not able to establish the correct position. Just small example. Here we will see what we don't want from the referee. So a referee who has an open angle in one moment, then miss the open angle. So if you don't have open angle, don't blow your whistle. We need to have discipline. This referee is moving, what we are not asking. And then when there is the contact, when there is something, he doesn't have open angle and he's only reacting because he's moving and he doesn't have idea what's going on and is blowing the whistle. And remember that every time you don't have open angle, for sure, at least one colleague has open angle. So leave the decision to the colleague with an open angle. This is discipline, and we must have discipline in our game, in our mechanic, in our criteria, in our movement, in our decision. Next point, I am in the good position. I was stationary. I'm making the call. I have to making my decision because, like we said, this is our goal. But I have to communicate also my decision. So again, we must be able to communicate our decision verbally first and with the standard hand signals. Why we're talking about standard? Because we need to know exactly what are the standard hand signals, the FIBA hand signals. We need to use all the time standard because then there will be a moment in the game where we need to show something special. We need to defend our important call. So this will be the moment when we can even use not standard, but must be an exception. So if it is an exception, it will have a big value. But if every time I'm using not standard, the moment that I really need to use something which is not standard, will not have any effect. Protocol, blow the whistle, and our blowing the whistle must be short, very strong, and only one time, please, one time. We cannot hear on the court, beep, 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 beep. This we can hear in the train station, not in the basketball court. Blow the whistle, short, strong, and one time. I blow my whistle, super. Once I blow the whistle, please release the whistle of the mouth, out of the mouth. Why? Because this is the moment when we start to communicate with players, with coaches, with participants. This is the great opportunity for us to start the communication first. And second, this is a great opportunity if we release the whistle to avoid emotional reaction. Because if we have the whistle in the mouth and we see an emotional reaction of a player, of a coach, it will be very easy to charge a technical foul. But if my whistle is here, is not in my mouth, and I have to take it, probably these 2 seconds will allow me to breathe deeply and probably to avoid emotional reaction. Then if the technical foul is deserved, no problem. We can also wait 2 seconds. This is not a problem. Don't be in a hurry. Blow the whistle and release the whistle of the mouth. This is a great moment for communication, and we cannot communicate with the whistle in the mouth. Because we need to split out our whistle, because we need to support our decision verbally. When we blow the whistle strong one time, we need also to support our decision verbally. Blue 14, white 15, pushing. We can also tell what they did, because this will help us a lot, will avoid a lot of problems, will immediately clarify to everybody what we saw and what we called. Support your decision with the verbal. And remember, like I told you with the whistle, less is more. One strong whistle, one strong voice is enough. If we start to show too many times or to blow the whistle too many times because we think that doing this, we support our decision, we are on the wrong path. Because more that we are showing, and I would like to say less credibility we have with our decision. So less in this situation is more. And then what is really important when we blow the whistle, remember that we as a referee, we don't have all the time the same whistle timing. We need to know the technique, and we need to know when and why we have to use different whistle timing. The first one is immediate whistle. The immediate whistle is something that we need to do immediately. So we need to blow the whistle immediately if we need to clean the game, if we need to avoid rough play, if we want to, if we feel we have the feeling that something wrong is going on the court. So this is immediate whistle. No waiting, no advantage, disadvantage, bam, bam. We need to stop immediately this kind of action. But we need to know that we have also patient whistle. The patient whistle is the one that usually is the standard whistle for I would like to say, a referee who is in a good process of his career or her career. The standard is the patient whistle, is the whistle that allowed us to see the start, the develop, and the finish of each play. This is the opposite of emotional whistle. The patient whistle is almost in our games are 90% of the call. The patient whistle is the whistle of the referee who is able to analyze the play from the beginning to the end, and then is able to see and to say to himself, this contact is illegal contact because was affecting with the play, so now I can call. I can see this contact, the start, the develop is not affecting to the play, the finish is not affecting to the play, I can leave it. 90% of our calls must be patient whistle. But then when we are working in 2 or even better in 3 referees, what is really important to train and to know is the cadence whistle. The cadence whistle is the one that we need to use when we are calling in secondary. And this is the whistle that must allow the referee who is in primary to take the decision. So it's the help call, it's a delay call. And also for this, we need to train. How we can train? For the cadence whistle, we don't have to use the air in the throat, but we need to use the air in the belly. So every time that we are ready to help a colleague with something happen in his primary, and we are sure that it's something illegal and need to be called, we need to give the colleague the time to take the decision. To do this, we need to allow our air to start from the throat to go to the belly. This is the time that we are allowing him to take the decision. In the moment that the air is in the belly and the decision is not arriving yet, now is the time for me to use this air and to blow the whistle. If the call is arriving, I will only say, okay, super. But this is the way how we can avoid double whistle. This is the way how we can avoid triple whistle. This is the cadence whistle is a disciplined whistle. When I respecting my partner, I respect the work of my partner, and I leave the time to my partner to work in his primary. Just as one small example, when we don't have cadence whistle, you will see now the center referee who is calling exactly at the same time of the lead. This is not a help call. This means that I don't have any discipline. I don't allow my colleague to take the decision in his primary, and I'm ready to help. I'm only watching the ball and reacting to something that's happening, which is not in my primary. This is just a small example. The call is correct, not a problem. But here we don't need double whistle. We don't need triple whistle. Then I blow my whistle, I made the call, I communicate my decision verbally immediately, I split out the whistle. Now it's time to signals and reporting. This is time. Also here we have a protocol of reporting protocol. So I blow my whistle, I stay for 1 to 2 seconds, like we were mentioning, to see the temperature of the game. Then is the time to sharp walk to the spot when I will be able to establish the visual contact with the table officials. This is something that changed last year, and it's something which is really working great. And now we don't need to run, but we want referees who are sharp walking to the spot. Why we did this? Why there was this new presentation with the reporting switches? There is a reason. It looks inconsistent because the goal of this is because we want to resume the game as soon as possible. How is possible now if we are walking and not running? Yes, because we are minimizing the distance that the referee has to walk, first. And second, we are asking the referee every time, please think about what will be your next position. So you will find the spot where to make the reporting, which is close to your next position. In this way, we will resume the game as soon as possible. The reason is, we want to resume the game as soon as possible because as a referee, we are great when the game clock is running. We are not so great when the game clock is stopped. The bigger problem that we have in the game is when the game clock is not running. So if we are able to reduce this moment, for sure, our officiating will be better and better. So this is the goal. So sharp walk to the spot. Then I stop, I am in balance, I will take a breath, and then we start to signal. Please, we are not in NBA. FIBA is still asking the referee to make the signal while standing, so not walking. So we reach the place, we stop ourselves, we are now in balance, we will breathe, and then we will start the signal. How the signals must be? This signal must have a rhythm, must have a start and stop and the finish. We have to know every time that we are signaling to show something to the table official first and then to spectators, to players and to coaches. So we must be clear, we must be understandable. That's why we need to have start, stop of the signal and a rhythm of this signal. And just because we need to be understood, we need to have a sequence. We need to use the verbal support also when we are signaling. And the sequence is team color, number of the player, nature of the foul, and penalty. Please use the verbal support. Now we will see a small example of two young referees. There is no the audio, but you can see how they are using the voice when reporting. This is what we are asking to the referee. I'm in balance and I'm using the voice to report. Not difficult, but this is something that we need also to train. And remember, like an NBA referee was telling me last summer, the moment of the signaling is the moment when you have to make your movie. This is your show time. And your show time, you need to make your movie, but remember, there is one crucial point. The nature of the foul must be the same of what really happened on the court. We cannot show what we like as a signal. We need to show exactly what happened, what we saw and everybody saw. Because this is how we built our credibility. We cannot show pushing if the foul was a blocking. We cannot show blocking if there was a hitting in the hand or a hitting in the head. We need to show exactly what happened in the play. In this way, using the voice, we will increase our credibility and it will be much, much better. And then we need to sharp walking to the new spot with the principle that we were mentioning before. So put yourself in the position in order to arrive to the next spot as soon as possible. The last point that now is really stronger part of training, referee training, is the control of the game clock and the shot clock. Now, top referees, but also young referees need to train on this, needs to be able to control game clock and shot clock all the time. So we need to understand how to control this, how to identify where there can happen the possible error. Because if I know where, probably I know also the solution and I'm aware. And then I need to identify the correct procedure, how to reset the game clock or the shot clock. We can divide this training, we are dividing this training, so also our training as a referee in two parts. The first part is to learn to control the game clock when the clock should start. So when the game clock has to start, there are three situations. Legal tap on the jump ball, after an unsuccessful free throws, the first legal tap, and after the first legal tap, after a throw-in. These are the three moments when the game clock has to start. Me as active or non-active referees, I need to control every time this. If I know that these are the moments, I need only to check the game clock start, the game clock start. Now we can go. It's half a second, it's less than half a second, but must be part of our muscle memories. We need to do this automatically every time. And then we need to know when the game clock must be stopped. Again, one must be stopped. There are 5 situations. And when time expires, end of quarter, when one referee is blowing the whistle. So every time we know that the game clock must be stopped. When there is a basket and one of the team is requesting a timeout, or we are in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or the last 2 minutes of the overtime, and there is every time there is a basket, we have to know that the time is going to be stopped. And then the other situation is the team is in control of the ball and the shot clock signal sound. These are the 5 situations when the game clock must be stopped. And again, I must be aware. I know that this can happen, one of these 5. If I know that it's happening one of these 5, my eyes, bam, has to check the game clock if it is stopped or not. And doing this automatically every time will save us from a lot of problems. But okay, this can happen. So let's go with the how to fix also. And then we need to learn also the game clock, to control the game clock wherever there is a new team possession, new team control. And we have 2 situations. New team control. I need to pick up every time the game clock. And the technique that we are teaching the referees is please pick up the last 2 digits every time. Because then if a problem will occur, you will know exactly the last 2 digits, and with the mathematics, you can easily fix what's going on. And again, this is something that all of you are doing. When we have the last action of the period, of the quarter, we have less than 24 or 40 seconds, and there is a new team control, we are used to do the signal is the last possession of the play of the game. So this is something that I would like to say all of us are doing. And then we need to find out also and to teach and to train the procedure when the signal sound for the end of quarter. So what the referee has to do, and now we will see a clip, the last clip of the day. Here we will see a referee who is using the perfect technique. Now we have 16 seconds to the end of the game, but we know exactly that this will not be the last shot. So I'm aware as a referee. Now I know that this will be the last shot of the game. So I will put myself in a position to see the shooter, the player, the defensive player, and the board. And I'm immediately ready to recognize that the shot is not on time. So what I have to do, exactly what this referee did with the perfect technique. And now we will see that the basket was not good. Now in this competition, we have also instant replay system, and we can easily go to check to support our decision. But we must be able and to train ourselves to recognize this kind of play. And to do this, we need to put ourselves in the correct position. Now I know that time expires and the ball is still in the hand of the player. So now I know exactly that whatever happened, the basket is not valid. And what this referee is doing, he's blowing the whistle immediately with the forearm up. This is the technique, because the signal sound. Then I need to wait. If I know that the shot was on time, I need to wait with the hands up. If the ball is in, I will show the signal with the ball in. If the ball is out, I don't have to show anything. But if I know that the basket that will not count, like in this play, because I know that the ball was still in the hand of the player, I will blow the whistle, forearm up, and immediately I will show the signal, official signal, no basket. In this way, everybody knows that I saw exactly what happened, and I communicating to everybody that the basket is not valid. Whatever will happen, no basket. So also this will save us from a lot of protest, a lot of complaint. Immediately, this is the key. So, okay. I'm over with my presentation. So now it's time for question and answer. If you have any question, if there is something that was not clear, please do not hesitate to ask me, and I'm here for you. And I hope only that you are still awake. That's all. Paul?
Roberto, thank you very, very much. Absolutely brilliant. If anybody wants to put questions into the chat, please feel free to do so. If not, just unmute yourself there and fire away. Any questions for Roberto on IoTs while we have them? Just while I'm waiting, it's not a question, it's a comment, and it's from Pat Cerna. That was brilliant. Pat used to live here. Thanks, Roberto. Pat used to live in Ireland, but I think it must be about 4 a.m. where he is at the moment.
Wow.